Oh, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Review Show. I'm your host, Chris. Joining me today are my co-hosts, Kelsey and JoJo, and we are here to talk about Captain... God damn it, I do it every time. Falcon and Winter Soldier. I do it every time. Every fucking time I do it. Oh,
you know,
and as I was saying it, I was like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. And I still fucked it up.
If he hadn't given up the shield, you'd be absolutely just correct.
Apparently.
But he did, so you're just not respecting his choices.
I'm not, apparently. Even though that was my whole argument was I was pissed off that they were mad that he gave up the shit. Anyways. So, I guess the one thing I want to jump in hard. So first off, obviously, just like every episode, these are going to be spoiler alert. We are talking about every episode, as much about the episode as we want to, specific parts about the episode, might even go into certain parts about the comics as far as how they relate to the episode. So if you haven't watched the episode, tune the fuck out, go watch the episode, come back here. Or if you don't care, continue to watch. Anyways, first thing I want to jump into is how dumb and how far down the fucking bench they are reaching for these characters to throw in there. Power Broker? Fucking really? Power Broker? Like, I was
gonna ask, is Power Broker actually in the comics? I was gonna assume yes.
Yes. It's and his background is like a paragraph long. I'm sorry, there's two of them in the fucking comics. They literally don't do anything. Like, they are a company. So that's the first thing, is that Power Broker Inc. is ran by Power Broker. Power Broker is a person who gives superhero powers, which I have not found out how he does this yet, but gives superhero powers to people, and then in exchange, they work for him, and he earns 70% of their total income that they use their powers in order to get, or in order to receive.
Okay, so that also implies a world where you can use powers to produce income. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, from the Marvel characters that we've seen, that's not how powers are used. But I guess we're also seeing the heroes who are kind of doing the link thing of everybody's problem is my problem.
Right.
It's mostly for people who do crimes.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like a bad dude. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few characters like that who are like, just, I don't know, I make stuff for guys who are bad guys, and then they pay me or something, like, or I give people powers and they pay me.
It's nuts.
But he has like if you look at his picture on the internet too, he's got like a huge, weird, distorted nightmare body. Like, he at some point gives himself powers and looks like a horrible monstrosity, I think.
Well, you'd have to give yourself.
Well, there's two different ones,
you have to give yourself powers.
Because whatever the second one is, I guess.
If you didn't give yourself powers, when you tried to collect from these people, they would just kill you with their powers. So you would have to have enough powers to protect yourself.
Or you just hire some bodyguards with powers to do it, I guess.
Yeah, but again, when it's convenient, they will leave you. So it's like the greatest protection is give yourself powers.
Well, I will say this. I was reading his about section because I barely knew who the fuck this guy was and wanted to know, like, how much he's actually going to be a big deal. So, I mean, at this point, I know I gave JoJo a lot of shit, but fucking this guy's way further down the bench than Leaper. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the one they go with, though.
Huh.
Well, so there's definitely an element, too, where, like, they could just be using that name, and then it turns out to be secretly a character who isn't one of the people who is the Power Broker in the comics.
Possibly.
There could totally be
I could see them doing the second
and then
one
it's
now.
Secretly Zemo or something. Oh, not Zemo, but like, it could just be the way they're not showing this guy implies that when they do show him, it'll be like, oh shit, it's that person.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. But if they did go, I think they would use the second Power Broker. I don't think they would use that one. Because that, I mean, yeah, I don't think they put.
Oh yeah, I don't think
the second guy is literally just like, I'm in a suit, and I think he has.
Yeah, it's absurd. I love it.
No, it doesn't say anything about any abilities at all, actually.
So, is his power I'm in a suit? Is he Barney Stinsoning
I think so.
Stinsoning this bitch?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a few. Well, he's sort of like Machine Man. Looks like.
I mean, he's got something.
He's got
glowing.
Robot parts. I don't know.
He's got something glowing right here, but you can't see it because underneath the shirt. But basically, the reason why I got so tired of reading his shit and just like, okay, was the majority of his backstory is about how he created a mobile app called Hinch for, obviously henchmen, and got into it with Cross, who I don't even know who the fuck that is either, and there's no blue link to him, so I guess no one else does at all. But after Cross stole Broker's idea, he created his own villain for a hire app called Lackey. And that's literally like, that whole story is basically almost his entire fucking little couple paragraphs here.
Oh, wait, no, there is a blue link for him. It's just not, it's Darren Cross.
Oh,
is
Darren
the character
Cross, okay.
Earlier, and he's like a guy who... He's won like the 8,000. Oh no, okay, that's the character that the bad guy from the first Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. Yep.
Yeah.
I know who Darren Cross is. Yeah, that one I know. But fucking this other cat, it's like, come on, dude. How far down the bench are we going?
Yeah, I don't know if that. I mean, they mentioned Smiling Tiger too, who I looked up and is like the most obscure. Yeah. He's a villain, a minor villain for an obscure team of heroes. Like the people he fights aren't even notable. It's really crazy.
I was gonna ask if Smiling Tiger was someone, because
Smiling Tiger to me is kind of like,
but I assumed
he would kind of be a lot more like the smaller villains, kind of like Luke Cage would have fought in his show, Not necessarily like Diamondback, but below, like people who would be like below Diamondback and stuff like that. That's what Smiling Tiger is kind of like.
Right. I mean, it's a guy who would never meet Captain America because he'd get beat up by someone way lamer earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the information I needed.
I got Luke Cage into the whole mix. What do you want from me, lady? How many times
Who the fuck is Luke Cage?
Power Man! We talked about his Netflix show. You said you watched it.
Who the fuck is Power Man?
Am I crazy?
I have not watched
Luke Cage. Why would that be more helpful?
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
We literally sat here and talked about all the Netflix specials, and you just kind of like went along with the entire conversation. So I was under the assumption that you had watched all the Netflix shows.
No, I just shut the hell up and let you guys have your conversation. That's what I do.
That would be where the miscommunication was. Because I literally started talking. Good.
Okay. Luke Cage is like the comics version of a blaxploitation movie. He's like a cool black dude from Harlem who would walk around like a tiara on, kind of in this yellow outfit that was like really funny, and he had super hard skin, and he just that's it, like that's his thing basically, and he's like stronger than a normal person, and he did street crimes. I mean, he stopped street crimes. Like he's a guy like Daredevil or like Spider-Man originally who just stops like lower tier
minor
stuff.
Crime.
Yeah, and then later on in like the 2000s, they started bringing him into the Avengers and stuff, and made him a bit more prominent. He's also he and Iron Fist were the heroes for hire, and they're literally guys you could hire to be superheroes for you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
That sounds frustrating and reminds me a lot of like Mike Tyson's stand-up, where he's like, I had to go to a kid's, like he has to go to kids' birthday parties to like pay rent, and he's like, this 16-year-old rich white kid is like, hell yeah, I've watched a bunch of your fights, can I take a selfie with you? And he's like, all I want to do is knock this kid out, and I can't because I have to pay rent. And that's his stand-up. That is Mike Tyson's stand-up. It does not get better than that. Like, that's as good as it gets. Is I can't punch this 16-year-old because I need to pay, like, I need his parents to pay me so I can pay rent. And it's like, woo, this is whoo. So I'm comparing like your hero for hire to the Mike Tyson at your birthday party. Am I getting kind of in the right area?
Sort of. Yeah, it's the thing where like,
I mean, it started out stupid. I would say. Yeah, I mean, it started out pretty stupid, but I mean, it got bigger in the comics. I mean, other people started showing up for that, like Daredevil, Elektra, so and so. I mean, I think even Spider-Man did a short stint where he helped out with the hero for hire. I don't think he was actually really part of the team. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely more low tier. I don't know why they considered bringing him to the Avengers. I don't really think that he did.
It was a thing where it was around the time where they realized, oh wait, all the Avengers except Black Panther are white guys, and so we need to like bring up some of the other people. I think is how he got promoted.
Yeah. Also, they write a new character. They grabbed somebody who was known.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also like Civil War when they just were doing like 3 different Avengers teams, I think. It was like, we got the Avengers and the Secret Avengers and the Mighty Avengers. Here's Ares. I don't know. Sentry. It's naming. Like, yeah, they dug deep at some point.
Hey, Sentry's a beast, dude. I love Sentry. Sentry's a bad.
Oh yeah, it was just like some guy they made up at that point, though. I think he'd only been around for like a year or something.
So back to the episode.
Carnage a long time ago.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah. Power Broker. I don't know. I wasn't too happy with that. But other than that, as far as the episode goes,
sorry, but I think Power Broker is the reason maybe that John Walker gets the super serum in the comics. That might actually be directly linked to that story there also. So there's like,
I don't know. I didn't see anything about U.S. Agent whenever I was reading about him.
I remember.
See, that's what I was wondering, is if the reason that he's trying so hard to get to the Power Broker, which we're like having even his friends be like, why are you doing this so intensely? Like, this doesn't make sense. Is because he wants the superpower serum, so then he can be a better Captain America, and he can wear that mantle with more authority than he does currently.
Yeah, I think
that's his real motivation.
Well, especially with this episode, too, where he had that dude up against the wall and was just like, do you know who I am? And he's like, yeah, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't have spit on Steve Rogers. That wouldn't have happened, you know?
And also, if he had, Steve Rogers would not have responded that way.
Yeah.
Like, he would not have yelled, oh, do you know who I am? And slammed him against a wall. Like, he would have been like, all right, and moved on. Like, we see a very clear difference in John Walker versus Steve Rogers.
And I was wrong. There are some powers for the second one. It is, in addition to his clients, Power Broker gave himself powers. More power that could ever, I should say more power that could ever be imagined. It's more power that could even be imagined, according to himself. Energy manipulation, one of his few powers, the Power Broker has demonstrated is the ability to generate bolts of pink energy from the palms of his hand, which is weird since he has the pink energy that kind of looks like it's coming out of his throat. And then flight.
Yeah, sure.
So more than even could be imagined. Energy manipulation
more than
pink bolts. Yeah.
And flight. Just saying. Someone was like, hey, pick like 5 superpowers off the top of your head. I'm pretty sure all 5 would be very easy, very quick, and none of them would be energy manipulation resulting in pink bolts and flight. So,
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say they're not going to adapt the version of him that has pink lightning come out of his hands.
Well, and
unless it's not a him and it's actually like Sharon, or it's a woman of some kind, in which case they can keep that
possibility.
Well, the reason why I thought they would use this one over the first one that you were showing was because it's a TV show, so we have to relatively keep budget in mind. And I was thinking they're not going to pay the budget to have like this huge, gigantic dude in a fucking exoskeleton. So it made sense they'd have this guy.
I don't think they're doing anyone who shoots energy out of their hands at all.
Just I think it would be more guns and more mafia-ish.
Yeah, it's dudes doing karate to each other, and so if you throw in just someone who's shooting energy, like, that's weird. It would be real awkward.
I'll say this about living in Lowtown, or whatever they called that place. Word gets around quick. Word gets around quick, man. Like, holy shit, with how many people... Whew, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Is Madripoor a location that actually exists in the comics? And then is High and Lowtown, or High and Lowtown also places that exist? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
And are there any notable people that live there, or anything interesting that happens there?
Oh, shit.
It's originally associated with X-Men a lot. Like Wolverine hung out there in disguise for a while, and so it's one of those things where they maybe didn't have the rights to use Madripoor in the movies until relatively recently, because that could have been in the Fox.
That's fair. Yeah,
umbrella.
Fox little, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's about how they describe it on the show. I think that was pretty accurate to my impression of it.
Yeah,
it's a place where there's crimes.
So do you think,
and no extradition?
Since this is a place that is mostly part of the X-Men, I realize X-Men universe and the Avengers universe is technically the same, but they kind of operate separately for the consumption consideration. Do you think there's any possibility that towards the end of this, at some point, we're going to get some X-Men characters showing up and joining this, and we're going to see those kind of mesh a little bit more?
I think not in this, because I think it's too soon, like relative to when they close the deals, and like I feel like if they had, if they had cast an actor as Wolverine, that information would have gone out somehow. Like that's something,
Yeah.
So I doubt it. I don't know. I think they gotta have like a big, prominent, hey, mutants exist moment at some point, I think, before any of these guys start showing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how they'll do that, but like, because until now there just aren't mutants, so they have to somehow explain like why there are.
Right.
And why they've been missing up to this point in the narratives.
Because like in the actual comics, especially later on, like the proximity of everybody is actually pretty fucking insane, because I mean technically for the longest Spider-Man isn't considered an Avenger, so you have Spider-Man, who basically is known as the hero of New York, and then you have Avengers Tower, which is in New York, and then all the way up the island to the top of New York is literally Professor X's newest school for mutants. So everybody's in fucking New York, so it's like, sooner or
Doctor
later.
Strange is in New York.
Doctor Strange is in New York.
There.
Yeah,
all those
exactly.
Luke Cage, Daredevil, all those people.
Yeah,
everyone.
Heroes for Hire.
All the crime happens in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck Montana, but New York is as safe as it can possibly be. Is the idea?
Pretty much, yeah.
Or as dangerous, because all this stuff happens there too. If Dr. Octopus just went to Chicago, he could do whatever crimes he wanted, because no one's there to stop him.
I don't know, until the government stepped in with the Civil War, and then you started having the West Coast Avengers and the East Coast Avengers and the Great Lakes Avengers.
Do not even mention those people to me. I'm so very offended by their existence.
The Great Lakes Avengers are great. What a joke.
God.
It's so fantastic.
What's the one that
West Coast
pisses me
Avengers
off?
were legit.
You talking about?
Do you remember which one of the Great Lakes Avengers is the one that I just get like irate about?
I believe it was Big Bertha, possibly.
God, it was. Yep, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's literally all
just
her
being a
power
fat
is
woman.
just being big and fat. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's not a thing that makes you an Avenger. That's a thing that makes you a candidate for many illnesses. But I will shut up.
She's not even the only Marvel character whose power is being fat.
Yeah,
they already did that.
Been done
the
before. Blob. Yeah, the Blob. We saw that in one of the Wolverine movies. Yep.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
That game was fucking terrible. Oh my god.
Wolverine game?
Yes, that original.
I thought there was going to be a Blob game, and I was like, no.
Thank God.
Blob is in that game, I assume.
Yeah, he's in the game.
Blob is
think about it.
Bob's in the old X-Men arcade game, and when you get to him and fight him, he goes, "No one can move the Blob." Then you fight him. That's great.
It almost sounds like no one can stop the Juggernaut. Imagine that.
It's not unlike that. Yes.
Oh, but yeah. So it would be cool at some point, like in 5, 6, 8 years. I don't know, or the Avengers and the X-Men can coexist in the same universe cinematically. That'd be pretty cool because Wolverine actually spent a huge amount of his time in the comics as an Avenger for a while. He was part of the Avengers, but
yeah, those things move back and forth a lot. Like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch started out as X-Men characters, and Beast is an Avenger for a long time. stuff like that.
When you started your sentence, I started preemptively glaring at the screen, thinking that you were about to say that you were looking forward to a Great Lakes Avengers movie, and I was going to be like, "Don't even speak that into existence." I am so offended.
I mean, man. I could hypothetically, if they could do like Deadpool 4, that could totally happen now.
I hate it. I don't like it. I hate it. I realize they're not appealing to me, but that sounds interesting. So we know that Madripoor was a real place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zemo is like a baron and has a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Is that true in the comics as well?
Yes, Baron Zemo is what he's known as. They didn't address that in the movie Here's and First, but I really appreciated in this show how they just were like, okay, he's out of jail now. And instead of going over, like, spending a lot of time explaining why he's a baron and it hadn't come up until now, he just, like, goes to his garage and grabs a mask and is like, I'm a baron. Come on, let's get on my plane. Like, they just glossed over it so quickly, and it was, like, cool, great.
Yeah, they did it pretty well. It reminded me a lot of the Bruce Wayne with the Flash scene where he's just like, what's your superpower? And he's like, I'm rich. And then they just get in the car and leave. Like, it was just like, straight to the point.
Right, it's just like evil Batman. It's great. He's really good in this episode.
He was good. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the episode. My favorite aspect of this episode was just how well they did Zemo. I liked how he just kind of just disappeared, put on a mask, did his shit, showed up. Sam was like, "Don't ever do that again." Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
He's just so cool. And then there's a part where they're like, "Hey, you killed the king of Wakanda," and I'm like, "Oh wait, yeah, he did do that."
T'Chaka.
That's right. He's actually he was really shitty. I forgot.
Yeah.
But he's so lovable.
Yeah, I like him as a character because everything that you guys just described. But on top of that, he's chaotic neutral. Like when he is on your side, he has a goal in mind, and that is what he is focused on. And if that's also your goal, great, he's your ally. The instant that their goals are no longer aligned, I am certain he will betray them. Like without hesitation, without concern. There will be no pause. There will be no, oh, but we've been through so much together. He'll be just like, nah, fuck off. Like, this is the way it goes, and move on with his life. And so I like him as a character because I think the guys are going to trust him, and then they're going to get burned by that. Because it seems like they're just kind of trusting him right now, and it's like, don't trust Zemo. He's not trustworthy.
I think they're going to subvert our expectations, and somehow Zemo's going to go through this whole thing and never turn on them, and it'll just end up like at the end, like, oh, he helped them. Great. Thanks, Zemo.
That was convenient.
And then they get to parlay that into another thing where Zemo gets to keep hanging out somehow.
Mm-hmm. And people keep being like, he's going to turn on you. It's like, but I haven't yet. So.
Yeah. Right.
They got bigger fish to fry. They got to deal with the Flag Smashers and the John Walker or whatever, Power Broker, all of them.
So something that I did actually have to do some research into myself to find out whether or not this was from the comics or not was actually the GRC, which so far from what I found out, that was strictly just made for this show.
Oh, because I mean, it only deals with the repercussions of the blip.
Well, yeah, which I had to explain to my significant other that the blip is actually something that was not a big deal in the comics because that wasn't like something they thought about back then when they made that. It was just kind of like Thanos won. Let's go back in time and bring everybody forward so that way we can then beat Thanos. Like it wasn't, there wasn't a blip that didn't actually happen. So I just thought it was interesting. Just like I liked how it went from like, your normal start off of like, because as soon as they started playing the commercial for it, I was just like, oh, wow, this is interesting because, like, we just had this long discussion with Kelsey last episode about, like, I wonder what things they're going to be putting in place to help these people back from the blip. Yeah. And then it's like, it literally starts off and then goes the same way as, like, every evil corporation, like Shinra, where it's like, Shinra, the electric power company, and for some reason they have a fucking military. And then it's like GRC truck pulls up and it opens up and these armed guards get out and shit. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, dude. So every fucking company's got their own fucking armed military. It's like, Jesus.
Well, if money can be made off of it, they will.
I guess. Oh, man. But, so I actually looked it up, and I thought this would be funny. So there are In the Marvel comics, there are 13 Zemos. And that is the line list of barons in the Zemo family. So there was Harbin Zemo, the first, who was around in 1480. There was Hadmar Zemo, the second, son of Harbin, the greediest of the Zemos. He was killed by the guards acting under Heller Zemo's orders at his inauguration. Heller Zemo, the third Baron, was the most progressive of the Zemos. Herbert Zemo, the fourth, son of Heller, he was assassinated by his own generals. Helmuth Zemo, son of Herbert, he was assassinated by a time-displaced Helmut Zemo.
Which is the one we have now.
No, so right? Heinrich is the one now, I believe, and his father is Helmut, who would have been around during World War II, like in the comics.
No, his father was Herman.
Is Helmut, and then Heinrich is his son, and then all the other ones Chris is mentioning are like
way before
much further back.
Yeah, Helmut is actually. Helmut is the modern Baron Zemo, the son of Henrik.
So
Henrik's father is Herman. Yeah.
Whichever one was in like the one that's a father of this one is a straight up like Nazi. It's just like a Nazi in World War II. And theoretically so is this one in the comics, but like in the sense that Hydra is a remnant of the I don't think he's really into the ideology,
He's more into power structure that he was kind of raised into.
Correct.
So passively a Nazi rather than actively.
This Zemo to be like a little bit woke because he is canonically kind of a member of the Nazi party.
Right. The funniest part about the list though was like the last one that I said. And then there's like 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They have nothing for. They just say this person is the son of so. This person is the son of so and so. Like there's no cool little tidbit until we get to Herman, who's the 11th, which was the one that was active during World War I, and then Henrik was his son, and then Helmut. So
you are saying Baron, and you're saying Helmut. It's Helmut. It is not this. Nobody looked at their baby and was like, you know what I'm going to call you? I'm going to call you Helmut. That is not how that went.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought that was funny though. I just like.
So my bad. This one's Helmut.
I just like the whole. He was killed by his guards. He was killed by his guards. I'm like, well, these dudes made a lot of fucking enemies.
Yeah.
I wonder when they made all that, like
the greediest of
when they decided to introduce the lineage of the Zemos.
The greediest of the Zemos almost killed me. That was really funny.
Yeah.
And the most progressive of the Zemos, like, oh my god.
Yeah, Henrik is depicted as the one that was the top scientist in the Nazi Party. Zemo fought both Captain America and his Jesus Christ. And his allies, the Howling Commandos, during World War II. Which, those of you who don't know who the Howling Commandos are, they're actually a really interesting group of individuals. It was like when Marvel decided they were going to kind of do monsters as humans or something like that. So it was like a werewolf man and stuff like that. And they were all led underneath Nick Fury.
I think that's a later version of that. Like the original Howling Commandos are just like soldiers. That's like Dum Dum Dugan. They were in the first Captain America
Dum Dum Dugan. Oh, Dum Dum. Well, he was in Captain America movie, wasn't he? Or am I just thinking? He was, right?
Yeah. They used those guys in the Captain America movie a little bit.
Good
they had a very minor part, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dum Dum Dugan's a guy who's got a funny mustache, a little bowler hat, and he's a World War II soldier. That's kind of it.
Dum Dum Dugan.
And then for some reason he lives a long time. I don't know what happens to him, but for some reason he's still alive, I think. Even though he was in World War II.
I mean, you can't forget a name like Dum Dum Dugan. Yeah, he definitely, there he was. Yep, he had the bowler cap and everything, too, in the movie. Oh, that's so great.
Neil McDonough.
Dum Dum Dugan. That's fantastic.
I know not that long ago, Dorcas was a common name for women. and it wasn't unheard of. And my mom told me, she's like, if I was just a little bit less progressive when you were born, you could have been a Dorcas. And I'm like, and I would not have survived middle school. Thanks, Mom.
It was that or some crazy Dorcas anyway, Kelsey. No, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So was Dum Dum a name for men that I just haven't heard of until this point?
I think it's a nickname he had. I don't think he was given that name at birth.
Thank God. I really hate the idea of someone looking to be like, you know what? This kid's going to apply for a job one day. We're going to go with Dum Dum Dugan as a name. The alliteration makes it classy. Like, no, it does not.
Timothy Aloysius Cadwallader Dum Dum Dugan. So,
I feel like he was given the nickname Dum Dum because the rest of those names are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh. There. That was it. I do know somebody who named their baby Aloysius. Somebody of our generation that named their baby Aloysius.
Oh, word? That's great. It's wild.
Yep. That kid is going to get made fun of.
Yeah, and just no one knows how to pronounce that, I bet. Like, no kids would have any idea how that's pronounced.
Also, think of all the standardized testing that you put your name on. Like, that name is 10 million long. It's just so many vowels and so many consonants and just so much, and you're... That's so much time typing your name that the rest of us don't have to spend when we have.
No, it's only 8 letters. It's actually not as bad as you would think.
Nope, it feels longer.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
Ooh, a little spoiler for everybody, including myself and JoJo.
Share.
That I don't know how to say his last name. The guy that played Dum Dum Dugan is supposed to reprise his role in What If.
Oh, that makes sense
because it's Dum Dum Dugan back.
They're doing one of the episodes is like, what if Haley Atwell, what's her name? Not Sharon Carter, the other Carter, Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter.
It was Captain America, and so he'll probably be in that episode.
Do they have a list out of the episodes yet?
They revealed they did a trailer or something. They revealed a few of them. I don't know if they said what all of them are going to be.
I want a list. I'm going to see if they have a list.
Yeah.
While you're looking that up, we are getting dangerously off of the episode, and we have been for a while.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So
this is a problem with us.
This is what I'm here for. I am here to smile while you guys talk about things I don't understand and redirect. You need me. But the Wakandan at the very end of this episode, I believe we recognize her from Infinity War, but do we know who she is? Do we know about her? Do we know what her goals are?
Yeah.
Like, help.
I had to look it up because the women who are in like the Dora Milaje or whatever, how it's pronounced, all have the same like shaved head, and it's kind of a little hard to tell them apart. So she's not the main one. She's not Okoye, who was like the primary one. She's Ayo, who was like the king of Wakanda's main bodyguard. So she was in Civil War when the king of Wakanda got exploded. And she, I think, showed up during like the big fight in Infinity War. But she's like pretty minor. She's honestly like, if you're getting a Wakandan, she's the cheaper one to hire for the day, kind of like, she's a minor character. Comparatively, like, well, if there's a reason you get her and not a character that you immediately recognize.
Yeah, Okoye or something like that. Yeah. So,
do
we know if she's the king's primary bodyguard? Then, being this far away, when they've already said that they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman's role. Like, they're not going to do that. There will not be another T'Challa, which is I'm kind of glad to hear that. Honestly, I'm glad that they're not just that.
Well, they have the perfect out on that one, though. I mean, Shuri becomes a Black Panther for a short stint in the comics, so it's not like that's uncommon. So.
But didn't they also say they weren't going to do that? They were instead going to go with the
I didn't hear it.
With M'Baku? Aren't they going to go with him instead?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think they've said anything really clearly yet, because
I don't
think they know
anything about that.
They're still figuring it out. I think.
That would be weird if they went with M'Baku over Shuri. I don't know what kind of... I mean, besides the fact that they're just like, we're going to just randomly do this, because, like I said, I mean, she actually was Black Panther for a
a huge part of the comics because Wakanda needed somebody, and Black Panther was off doing other things, fighting other people.
Yeah,
I'm part of the
Avengers. There is some some amount of rumor that they're bringing in a new character entirely to be Black Panther, who's like a more minor comics character who also goes by Black Panther at some point. I don't really know anything about that character, but yeah, I don't know. It's really too bad they didn't have like that. You know, Chadwick Boseman didn't leave something in his will to say like, "Hey guys, you can recast me. It's all right," or "Don't recast me." Like if he had wishes explicitly to say like how he felt about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think he had bigger things on his mind.
A little bit.
Yeah, I guess. It's just he was working on that right up till like, man, no one knew, and then suddenly it happened. I was like, so.
Yeah, no one knew. He posted pictures of himself online when he was going through chemo and he'd lost a whole bunch of weight, and a bunch of people started making fun of him for it.
Yeah.
And like they just trashed him on his Instagram post, so he just deleted his Instagram. There was no like, hey, you don't look well. It was, oh yeah, like the Black Panther's losing his claws now. You look like a tame little house kitty. Look how weak you are, and things like that. And saying like really awful things to him. And there was no acknowledgement. Like I don't think he ever came out and said like, I'm dealing with cancer, but never. Being himself, he was being made fun of for not being the symbol they associated with him. So he's just like, fuck this. Then you don't get to know, and you'll find out when we're done.
Yeah.
And that when I found out that people were awful, I'm just like,
That's
the internet for you.
Don't be a dick. In case you need a reminder to not be a dick, this is your daily reminder. Don't be a dick.
But right. So she's there because Wakanda at large is probably upset that Zemo is free currently because he straight up killed T'Challa's father.
Yeah, T'Chaka, I believe his name was.
Yep, T'Chaka.
T'Chaka, yeah.
Yeah, T'Chaka and T'Challa.
So there will be some amount of conflict there to.
So I will
go
say
away,
this,
I guess,
because we were kind of talking about it before we jumped right back to the episode. I did not know that the What If episodes are going to be animated, and now that I know that they're going to be animated and not real, like live casts, I'm actually a lot more disappointed with the ones that they chose to do so far. Like Peggy Carter takes the super soldier serum. I'm not necessarily 100% like dying to see that. I mean, T'Challa as Star-Lord, once again, I'm not 100% dying to see that.
As Star-Lord?
Yeah, and then Winter Soldier versus the Marvel Zombies. That's like the only good one they've announced so far. I don't know why it's Winter Soldier versus the Marvel Zombies, but Marvel Zombies was a very interesting run that they had for a while. So, I mean, I read a lot of that, obviously, because a lot of it dealt with Deadpool as well, so... Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there's so many really good what ifs out there. Like, what if Spider-Man became a hero or became a villain versus a hero? Like, that was one of the best what if comics like ever, where he actually captures the guy who kills Uncle Ben and starts hitting him and not understanding his powers and literally beats him to death, like literally kills him. And then he becomes like the world's greatest villain. Like he's just like fucking unstoppable. Like I mean, there's so many great what if comics out there. I'm kind of disappointed in the lineup so far. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they only released some of them, not all of them, right?
Yeah, it's just those three that I can see so far.
Okay.
But if we're following the same path of like the Falcon, I mean, there's 6 episodes, so we're already halfway through the season. So if these last 3 aren't like fucking bangers, then I'm just gonna be like, well, that fucking sucked. So.
I guess I don't know if these are hour longs or half hour or what, but there's probably more than 6 because it's animated. They can doesn't have the same budget.
A little bit easier, for sure. I don't know.
But yeah, I guess they're really limiting themselves to things that are like cinematic universe related. So it's just like, how can we reshuffle these actors into different places? The people we already have, and not like introduce anyone new.
I mean, I guess I don't know, man. I feel like with the fact that it's animated, they have so much more room to play versus just like, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? Like, no one cares.
That's a weird one.
No one cares. Literally, no one fucking cares. I don't get that.
Well, it's possible. I say this now in the hopes that I will be proved right in a few months, but it's possible they're going to do such a good job with these that our expectations are going to be low because we're like, you could have chosen better ones, but they chose ones that somebody really came to them with a great idea of how to make this visually interesting in addition to being compelling and meaningful and just a really excellent story. So I'm going to guess Marvel didn't choose these on accident. They probably like sent out a thing to artists and said, hey, bring your concept art, bring your pitch, bring what you want to do. And these were chosen because they were the best options. Not necessarily because the story in the comics was the best version. Does that make sense?
Okay, so there are going to be 10 episodes, it looks like. And if I look on IMDb here, there's like a picture of some kind of evil Doctor Strange going on. There's let's see, all this Haley Atwell stuff. I guess that's the only other thing I got. Actually, is evil Doctor Strange. And Uatu the Watcher is there.
Dude, I love the Watcher. I love him so much. Oh, is it Original Sin? Yeah, Original Sin, where they killed the Watcher and they're doing a whole... That's where I got a lot of our boy Winter Soldier from right there. He was like a huge deal in that comic, trying to figure out who killed the Watcher. So, it's another what if, isn't it? So you've seen the Watcher. He's in the movies whenever they're all sitting around and Stanley's retelling all these stories to those guys out in outer space. Remember how we saw that scene? Those are the Watchers. So the Watchers are people who watch over the multiverse, and they're not allowed to intervene.
They just are like record keepers,
beings, basically.
But Uatu sucks ass at his job and intervenes all the time.
Yes, he does.
Uatu explicitly breaks the one rule he's got constantly.
Yep.
That's just like, hey guys, watch out, Galactus is coming, or something. He'll just show up on Earth like, hey, I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but there's space dudes.
Get your shit together.
Yeah. So it's great.
Fantastic.
That's probably one of my favorite Deadpool covers that I have. Is there was a Deadpool team up with Uatu, and it shows Deadpool, and he's like in a bath, and he's got like, you know, the bubbles and everything going, and he's playing with like little toys, and then he's got like a weird look to his side, and it just shows like the Watchers watching him in the bathtub. He's got his mask on and everything. It's hilarious. I love it. Deadpool comics crack me up, dude. But yeah, Original Sin was a really good comic series where, like I said, it's a big deal with Winter Soldier.
So I feel like this particular episode was introducing Zemo, introducing kind of the group dynamics now that Zemo's involved with it, and setting up what's going to be coming. Like this seemed like a setup, but also a kind of a ramp-up episode. So I'm anticipating that the next three are going to be more action-packed than this one was. But I don't feel like this one was full of a lot of revelatory information. Does that feel the same to you guys?
It was kind of a big deal to have Sharon come back because she had really just disappeared. I guess she was supposed to have bigger roles in theory in the comics. I mean, not like she's
in the movies
character in the comics, and she's a bigger role in the movies. Like just writing changed. Originally, she was gonna basically fill the role that Black Widow did in Winter Soldier. And then they decided to write Black Widow into it instead. And so she legitimately just kind of disappeared at some point. And so for her to show up again, then she's like, hey, you guys fucking forgot about me.
Yep.
Hey,
exactly.
Hey, dicks, I've been here
the entire time.
It also just seems crazy that Steve would forget about her. It's messed up.
Especially since her relation to, you know.
Yeah.
Peggy Carter, and like they had a steamy kiss in Civil War that was overdue, and I think their relationship is mostly fleshed out in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? That's where we see interactions between them?
Between whom?
Sorry, I'll just put up my speculation so you guys can guide me here. There keeps being references to things that haven't happened on screen that seem like things that the audience should know. So in this case, I'm thinking of in in Civil War, Sharon and Captain America talk about the fact that she was his neighbor, and in Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam at some point mentions, do you remember what happened the last time we tried to steal the shield? Like, Steve and I were on the run for 2 years and Sharon got blamed for it and stuff like that. And so it sounds like all of this happened somewhere, and since the only thing that was going on in Marvel that wasn't on the big screen.
Yeah, that was Winter Soldier.
That was Winter Soldier? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's what JoJo's talking about, where it was like Black Widow, Falcon, and Captain America were all on the run. And they were constantly doing the incognito stuff where you see Captain America with the ball cap and the fucking brown leather jacket walking around so people didn't be like, oh, you're Steve Rogers, which everybody knows your fucking face at this point because you were deputized a long fucking time ago. But, you know, hey, whatever.
Yeah, and the whole ball cap thing does not hide him at all. He looks as much like Steve Rogers with that ball cap as he does without it.
Yeah.
But
that's because Chris Evans is a good-looking man. That's why.
Yes, can confirm.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was nice of them to acknowledge her again, and she got to, like, stab a bunch of guys, which was cool.
Well, see, I'm excited for kind of like what Kelsey was talking about with the episode build-up. I'm excited to see who the fuck it was that got in the car with her that she's reporting to and where that's going to go.
I wonder.
Because there is definitely somehow, some way she's paying for that rich-ass fucking apartment. Like, she's doing something. And I'm kind of wondering if that's going to lead us back to the power broker or not. So
I'm getting the vibe that's a yes.
Yeah. So, yes, I completely agree. This was a built-up episode for sure.
There's part of me that thinks the power broker is like the CIA or something secretly. Like, Sharon, what Sharon's telling you about being on the run or, you know, wanted or whatever isn't quite accurate. And she's secretly still in it somehow. Like, it's just the story she has to tell. Yeah. Because it just seems so crazy that, like, she actually could have been left out to dry like that without Steve trying to do something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is way outside of Captain America's character to just be like, especially someone who helped out as much as she did, just be like, I forgot about them. I mean, there were other things going on, like, you know, half the people in the world dying, you know, like, are in the universe.
Yeah.
But he's not going to take that as a chance to write off people that are left in his world. Like, he's going to take that as an opportunity to reconnect and make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah.
Also, there were a lot of years.
A lot.
5.
Between of the blip thing where, like, just maybe the idea would cross his mind to check it out. I don't know.
I wonder if Sharon disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
always fun to find out whether or not a person had been around for a while.
I don't know. Like I said, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, it's one of those things where, as a comic book fan, what's nice about it with the blip and them making that such a big deal is, like, some of this stuff does come as a surprise to me. As far as they're incorporating it in there, because, you know, like I said, that wasn't a big deal in the comics or anything. That wasn't even a thing in the comics. Maybe some of the newer editions, because they're, you know, they're starting to do, I don't know why they're doing this, but they're starting to do comic book series based off the movies. I'm like, the movies are already loosely based off a comic book series. I don't really think that this is fucking necessary, but hey, do what you got to do, I guess. But one of the things that was cool is just like it leads me to think of, like I said, not trying to jump back onto it, but the fucking What If series. It would have been cool, since it's relevant, for them to do the What If Thanos won. Like, actually won in the end. Like, that was like not only was that a really good short comic book series, that was fucking dark. Like, that was probably one of the darkest comics I think I've ever fucking read, honestly. Yeah, I mean, you have where Thanos literally keeps the Incredible Hulk as his fucking dog, his little pet dog, and forces him to feed on the leftover remains of his fellow teammates as food. Like, I mean, Ghost Rider is, for some reason, Thanos' fucking butler. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but apparently you can't kill Ghost Rider. So,
you can't kill Ghost Rider.
That's what we need.
So dark.
We need another Ghost Rider. Not Nicolas Cage. Not Nicolas. We need another Ghost Rider. Not Nicolas.
He's a little old for it now, I think.
He was also a little terrible for the role as well. But, you know, I mean, if you want to say old,
sure.
I'll use terrible. But, you know, either way, we need somebody. I actually like Ghost Rider. He's a really cool character.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see where this is going to ramp up to.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to draw too many conclusions because, like, right now, I just feel like there's just so much more of where, I don't know. The more and more I watch it, the secrecy of this soldier serum, it's just crazy to me that the dude made 20 vials and the Flag Smashers literally, like, were coordinated enough to just steal all 20 vials and they're just gone. Like, that just seems very plot driven to me. They don't look organized to me. I'm sorry, they don't. They look like a group that shows up. Oh, look, the GRC is here. Let's fucking smash their building and blow them up. And then they're on to the next. Like, they don't seem like a very well organized group to me, personally.
Guerrillas.
Well, is it possible that they as a group are not organized, but somebody who is organized is pulling their strings and saying, like, you do whatever you want, but I need you to do this. Okay,
it's
now
the power broker, Kelsey. It all leads back to him. It all leads back to
him. Like, he did explicitly then try to kill them.
Maybe he stole it from himself.
Yeah.
What? No way.
You didn't know this time, but M. Night Shyamalan is the person who's writing the series. Hit him with the twist.
Holy shit.
I enjoyed the humor that they have been working into all of these episodes. Like, they've been keeping it entertaining from not only an action, like, beat people up standpoint, but also from just some real amazing one-liners that I've been loving.
I mean, they are, but at some point I do feel like for instance, the whole, like, both of them being like, no to Zemo. It was like, I get the comedy part, but, like, I don't know. I just don't feel like at that moment that needed that, you know? Like, it's like Sam is very obviously upset about this right now.
And I really appreciate Zemo's quiet, like, apologies. And they just, man, just Zemo, so good.
Zemo's delivery of a lot of things were excellent when he was just like, only an American would think that a well-dressed black man is a pimp. And I was just like, hey! There's something about that was excellent.
He's just a really charming guy. Like, it makes you overlook the fact that he, like, murdered a ton of people.
Yeah!
You want it,
Maybe for you, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, he was a bad guy at one point. Like, no, he's still Zemo to me.
I mean, he's still Zemo, but he's like, I want to hang out with him. You know, I want more.
Yeah, he's cool and fun.
Yeah.
I want him rehabilitated so we can hang out.
Right. Or, like, I don't want him to turn on them because I don't want him to, like, I don't want them to shut him down entirely. Like, I don't want him to die.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be able to keep bringing him back for other stuff.
What I will say that I like that they're doing with Zemo is I like that they're using him to constantly cast doubt into Sam about Bucky. I really do like that he's there to kind of drive that wedge to just make Sam really doubt whether Bucky is okay. Because, like, I mean, it happened multiple times where Sam's like, especially whenever he was just like Winter Soldier attack, and then he's just all like, well, that didn't take long for him to revert back to his old ways. And I was just like, oh shit. And Sam's like, you all right? And you could tell, like, it's pissing Bucky off too, so it's already driving that wedge that's, you know, already there due to the fucking shield. So
yeah, because Bucky believed in himself because the people around him believed in him and trusted him to keep it together. And having somebody constantly check on you isn't the same thing. That's the exact opposite. And it doesn't give you a chance to be like, no, I am fine and I can be comfortable being fine. And yeah, it definitely feels like Zemo's setting them up to go after each other when he wants to make his great escape kind of thing. It's going to be the Winter Soldier has gone off and you have to stop him.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So I'm really excited that they're using Zemo's character that way. I mean, like I said, the actor, it's a good actor.
Excellent actor.
I don't know why, but whenever we first got into that lab, this won't mean much to you, Kelsey, but JoJo know what I'm talking about. When we first got into that lab, I got like a really strong Tinkerer vibe. I don't know why. I was just like, just because they were like, oh, power broker and stuff. I'm like, are they trying to fucking also introduce the Tinkerer here for a sec? I don't know why. I just got like a real strong Tinkerer vibe, and then they killed him off, and I was like, nah.
Well, they used him already. He was in Spider-Man. He's in Homecoming.
He is. Like, that's right.
The guy, like they refer to a guy as the Tinkerer or something, or as that character's real name. I don't remember which. Like make vultures wings and shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know. There's been so many movies you just forget sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Of course. I mean, I had the same
studios. So. And they're like, I know I was looking at the map the other day. Someone like made out this map where it shows like all the characters that Disney owns. And it's like got them in a circle. And it was like all the characters that Fox owns and has them in a circle. Obviously, they don't own them anymore. And it's like the small Spider-Verse that Sony owns. And then it's like off by itself. It's like this one. Well, actually, there were two. One was Universal because they own Hulk. And then it was like off by itself with like some like independent studio, and like they own all the rights to like Man Thing or Swamp Thing, whatever you want to call him. And I'm just like, we need another Swamp Thing movie.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. That's the reason why apparently we'll never see him in a Marvel movie. Is it Man Thing or Swamp Thing?
Man Thing is the Marvel one. Swamp Thing is the DC one. There's a thing in each, and they're very similar looking.
It's hilarious.
It does seem like the original content was kind of stolen by each of these as one of them came up with something that was clever. They were just like, oh, yeah, we got one too.
Well, in this case, they're both kind of just the creature from the Black Lagoon or something. Like,
yeah, it's pretty much.
Just a gross swamp monster.
I just think it's funny because whenever Deadpool had this running series called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where he basically goes so crazy that he's like, I just want to stop living. And the only way for me to finally be able to die, I've found out, is because basically I have a fan base and I have to kill off all the other Marvel characters so that way there's no more Marvel comics because there's no more characters. And like somehow the Man Thing ends up becoming like the key to it all in the end for Deadpool to actually escape the comics and then like try to kill the creators of the comics. Like that was like how the comic ended. It was like this dude's like just working away writing this comic, and it's like one of those like picture out of picture out of picture out of picture where it shows Deadpool walking up behind him and then just fucking kills him. And then it's like, well, that didn't work. And then they're all like, now Deadpool's just gonna go back and kill all the world's greatest literature. And that was a pretty fun little series. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. God damn it!
Okay, yeah, there was a 2005 movie based on Man Thing.
Yeah, but who was
because they gave the rights to some weird indie studio or whatever. Yeah,
and they still have the rights to him. It's just so weird, just so out there.
That's so.
Anyways,
yeah,
animated fucking What If. We need a goddamn Howard the Duck. That's what we need. We need a Howard the Duck episode. We got to see Howard the Duck for a small stint in Guardians of the Galaxy. Very small stint.
He's officially in the universe. Sure, why not?
And Howard the Duck, it would just be so funny now that Disney owns Marvel, because like fucking there was that whole lawsuit because how much he looks like fucking Donald the Duck whenever he first came out. There was that whole lawsuit from Disney, and it would be just hilarious. We need a Howard the Duck. There was like a rumor that Nathan Fillion voiced him in that small little couple seconds. I don't know if that was actually true or not.
I know James Gunn had gotten Nathan Fillion to be Wonder Man in Guardians. Then that got cut entirely, but he might have done that Howard the Duck voice too. I'm not sure.
We need.
I would love it if that was true.
We need more Nathan Fillion.
Well, yeah, the answer is always more Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, always.
He's doing the voice of Wonder Man for the MODOK cartoon they're doing, or animated project thing.
That's unfortunate. I'm not a Wonder Man fan.
Yeah,
the answer is also always more Alan Tudyk.
For some reason, this character got for him. Yeah. Yeah, sure. More, absolutely.
No, he was actually voiced by Seth Green. Huh.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sounds familiar.
All right. That's a name that got pulled literally out of no. Oh my god, they literally said that if they were to do a full I would totally be okay with this. They said they were to do a full Howard the Duck like TV show or movie or anything like that. Their main person they want to get to cast for the voice is fucking Danny DeVito. Yes, dude. Yes. Yeah. I love Danny DeVito. I'm actually watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia again for like the 8th time. I love Danny DeVito. He's so fucking amazing.
He's the best, man. Yeah.
That would be
he
so
should have been Detective Pikachu.
You know, I actually watched that. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not a Pokemon fan, so
that movie,
I wasn't.
It was really adorable. Excited. It was great.
Good.
I think Ryan Reynolds did a pretty good job, though. I don't know if I'd recast.
Nothing has ever convinced me that like Bulbasaur was cuter than that movie. Like I always thought Bulbasaur was okay, but I didn't think he was cute. But it did start the dumbest fight my husband and I have ever had, and he is wrong. I will never give in on this. He will forever be wrong.
Ooh.
It's the one place where I'm sticking to my guns. This is the hill that I die on. My husband, his favorite thing in the world is turtles. I have mentioned this before on podcasts. Mm-hmm. That is his thing. He loves it more than me. I know that. I'm fine with that. Our marriage can survive. The reasons, if you think of the initial starter lineup, you know the starter lineup of Pokemon. So you've got your Charizard, you've got your Squirtle, and you've got your Bulbasaur.
It's actually Charmander, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, yeah, it is Charmander. Whoops,
I'm just going to say, if I walk in and I get to pick a starter Pokemon and you've got fucking small Bulbasaur, small Squirtle, and then this gigantic dragon, I'm picking the dragon 10 out of fucking 10 times. Like, that's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I apologize, Charmander. So, my husband chooses Bulbasaur because, and I quote, it looks most like a turtle.
Hey, one of them's a turtle.
Not Squirtle, that he's a fucking turtle.
One of them is straight up a turtle.
Yeah. This is the dumbest argument my husband and I have ever had because, like, the screaming of, but Squirtle is a fucking turtle doesn't answer, but Bulbasaur looks more like a turtle, and that is the argument we will never see.
Not only is Squirtle a turtle, not only is Squirtle a turtle, but also on top of that, his name is almost exactly Turtle. And then you've got War Turtle, which is the second one. And then fucking Blastoise. Like, I mean, they're all turtles. Like, I was excited about this argument because I was like, it's finally something for me to use to just, like, piss Kelsey off every once in a while that I can just refer to. But I can't, I can't back Scott in this one. Because much like Scott, I am also a huge turtle fan because my nickname was Koopa growing up my entire life because I always picked the Koopa turtle in every fucking Mario game that I could pick the Koopa turtle in. So Koopa was my nickname growing up my entire life. And I can't back Scott on this one.
That's because he's not right.
No.
I can't back him on this one. That makes no sense. Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, Scott. I tried.
It's one of the only times in my life that I've been able to look at my husband and be like, you are wrong, I am right, and that is the way life goes.
Wow.
Normally he's the right one. It's not me, it's him. But this is the one time.
What part of Bulbasaur does he think makes it more turtle-y? Because it has a thing on its back? Is that like...
Maybe because it walks on all fours?
Because it's slightly green and it's on all fours and it's got a flower that kind of maybe you could almost say is a shell. Like, it is not more turtle-y than the fucking turtle, though, to be honest.
It is not turtle-y enough for the Turtle Club at all.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. I will go downstairs and quote that at him and see if he appreciates that. But I really liked it. Good job.
Okay.
So are we going to bring this back to any final thoughts, or should we wrap this up here?
Oh, yeah, we always have to bring it back to final thoughts. I mean, I kind of said most of the stuff I wanted to about the episode. There wasn't too much here. I mean, it was a lot more, as Kelsey pointed out. It was a build-up episode. I mean, we saw a couple new people show up. There was a couple things that left questions as far as, you know, who the fuck Power Broker is. I mean, that's probably the main one for a lot of people. And how big of a deal is Power Broker going to be? Like I said, my biggest walk away from this episode as far as like what's going on is definitely who got in the car with Sharon Carter that she's reporting to. Like I said, obviously it's most likely going to be Power Broker, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, I guess my final thoughts. Once again, we'll do a rating on the entire series as it's finished. But my entire thoughts on this one is I am excited for the next episode. if I had to put out what was basically the best part of this episode to me, it was 100% Zemo. Like Zemo sold this episode. So
yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
he exploded a bunch of dudes.
Right. Yeah, he kicked ass.
He did a really good job. I'm excited to see where the official switch happens, like where he pulls the rug out from underneath Falcon and Winter Soldier. If that's going to be, my opinion, just with the way things have been going with these Marvel shows, is it's going to be a thing that's going to happen more at like the end. So that way they have a chance to do like a Zemo series or some shit like that, you know, down the road. How like a lot of this is like kind of leaving things empty and open to where it's like we can kind of go wherever the fuck we want. So that's where I kind of sit.
I like the introduction of him as our new rich guy, because we lost our rich guy and now we've got a new rich guy that if only he wasn't evil, he could be our new rich guy, but he's evil and we know he's evil, but right now he's just kind of on our side. So I'm enjoying him as the new rich guy.
Just goes to show you, kids. People always say money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you superpowers. We've seen this time and time and time again. So apparently, money might be one of the best superpowers to have. It's out there.
Yep. That's a dark and all too real take on this episode.
I mean, look at Batman v Superman, for instance. The comics, not the terrible fucking movie. You could just buy a bat suit with kryptonite in it and beat the fuck out of the world's strongest man. Someone who is referred to as a god. Oh, that's great. That's great.
So, JoJo, your final thoughts?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's cool the way that stuff happened. I don't know. What was I saying? I don't even know anymore, man.
Oh,
man. Now they got Zemo and Sharon introduced. They like got all the main people in the mix, so it can ramp up to whatever confrontation. Like I think that's all the main players at this point, aside from, you know, you got to figure out who Power Broker is. But like, I think like Wakandan lady and anyone else is just going to be like a minor role at this point.
And so, in and out.
Yeah. So, you know, now we get to see where all the things intersect, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be heading towards some sort of conflict with John Walker again. He was barely in this episode, so, you know.
Yeah, he was.
But he was grumpy when he was.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, it was cool and fun. Silly. I don't know. Like, there's a part where Zemo's dancing, which is great. Like, it's dumb. It's sometimes, but like, it's really good. It's fun. It's a fun show.
It's fun. Yeah, I agree.
Hearing JoJo's final thoughts like that just made me miss like having like, you know, I mean, bringing James on an episode just so that way we could go from JoJo's final thoughts of to all right, James, what are your final thoughts? You know, it'd be great. Back to back. Perfect. No, but yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, the whole dancing scene was kind of just weird, but you know, I mean, hey, they're just trying to make him have a character. Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, I'm excited to see where that rift's gonna happen. We'll have to wait and see. As far as what I was gonna say about John Walker, I don't know. He's got that punchable face for me. Like I don't.
He really does.
Face. Yes, really that's so accurate.
Yeah, he's got that punchable face where every time I see him with the cowl on, I'm like, take it off.
God, I feel really bad because I say that about politicians. I don't ever say that about like totally innocent, kind people, and he's an actual person. I feel really bad for having that opinion. I'm sorry.
His dad has a completely unpunchable face. I feel like Kurt Russell is a guy who looks cool. And you want to like hang out with him, but then his son looks like
you just blew Kelsey's mind that was.
Oh my God! But it makes like I remember looking at his face, being like, "This looks like it was made of pieces of people that I've seen before," and now I get it.
It's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, I think.
Yeah, because they've been together since Overboard, I think.
Something like that, probably. Yeah,
I think so.
So yeah, that's their son.
Wow.
Wyatt Russell.
That's amazing. Thank you for blowing my mind. That's so
Marvel.
Cool.
Yep. Both have been in Marvel. So
they have? Who the hell did Kurt Russell play in Marvel?
Well, no. His mom hasn't.
I was talking about the dad.
Kurt Russell was Ego, the living planet.
Yeah.
In Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I knew that. God damn it, I knew that.
Did you hear why they chose Ego over Jason for Star-Lord's dad for Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, I don't think so.
Because it was going to be a movie that was going to be coming out the same year as the whole big Star Wars, whatever, how many years Star Wars has been a thing, and they didn't want to have a Luke Vader type situation going on a whole Star Wars thing with a space movie. So they chose not to do like actual, Star-Lord's dad, Jason.
I didn't want to
we'll give him the fucking living planet Ego, who has never had any kind of like relationship with Star-Lord like at all. It was just it was a good movie, but it was just so fucking weird and out of nowhere.
Like his comics father isn't like a character who has very much development, I don't think, until maybe more recently.
That's fair.
Minor dude.
Yeah, I mean they've went back and said that he was like part of like the Nova Corps now.
Yeah, I think
he's like a celestial being, obviously, which they said in the movie too. But yeah, it was just I just remember like whenever they were doing the whole movie, I was like, oh dude, we're gonna see Jason. That's awesome. And then they released the whole thing about Ego, and I was like, but why? And then they talked about it, and I was like, I mean, I get it, but I still feel like you could have done it. But I mean, it was a good movie. They did a good with Ego. I mean, Ego was someone who I really didn't know existed that much in the comics, because he really didn't exist that much in the comics.
Yeah, that's one of those characters I like knowing about because it's weird. Like I was like having a back knowledge of just random strange Marvel characters.
I mean, he was one of those characters that was created in like the whole like Star Trek age, where it's like, oh, we do the space exploration and drop down on this planet, and my god, it's a living planet, will we ever escape? It's a bad Star Trek episode is basically what Ego is to me. Like, will we be able to leave? So, is what it is. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, turn on those notifications. That way you get notified next time we upload another episode. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and views on the episode, where you're at. Are you hashtag Team Zemo, or are you not hashtag Team Zemo? I think everybody probably is at this point.
I am.
Yeah. Don't forget, we also have the Twitter and the Twitch links down there in the description below, so please be sure to check them out. I am going to do kind of a little personal thing here at the ending of this, because I've had some people ask me to do it on stream, because they know that this gets edited and put out the next day. As you're watching this, it will be 7 a.m. and my daughter will be 30 minutes into surgery. So quick reminder, if you'd like to send any thoughts or prayers our way, that would be more than appreciated. Had a lot of people saying if I could do that to remind them when they go to watch the episode in the morning. So there you go, and we do appreciate that. We'll obviously do a big update on the Twitter page, maybe even an update on the YouTube page as well, just to let you guys know how Baby Blade, as so many of you have come to call her, is doing. So, but yeah.
That's adorable.
Anyways, but yeah, like I said, Twitter and Twitch links down there in the description below. And yeah, after all this up, you guys have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next time.